Hello and welcome back to my channel. This week's episode is going to be a journal with me process video. All through the month of June, I've been doing Journal Prompt June over on Instagram, so this is one of my layouts. Here's some of the ephemera that I use for this particular prompt. The journal prompt for this layout was, what book have you read multiple times? So my favorite book of all time is Little Women. I use it in so many of my journals, and so that was of course the book I wanted to journal about for this particular prompt. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this Little Women image onto the layout. It's from a vintage Little Women book that I had, and I love the picture because all the sisters are on there. And I'm just going to glue that right to the top. I am going to use PVA glue because it will stick really well on there. And the book page itself is a little bit thick, and so I wanted to make sure that I use something a little bit stronger than a glue stick because I want to make sure that it stays on there really well. So I just use my paintbrush and I brush a very thin layer of that PVA glue right onto the book page and just glue it right to the top. Really simple. And because I was also going to be gluing it partially on that fabric that's on the page, I wanted to make sure I had a good strong glue. So now that that's done, I'm just going to put some of that stuff aside, make sure it's on there nice and flat. And I have this envelope. I got it on Mother's Day with one of my cards. That's why it says my mama. It was from Lizzie. And so I thought I would use it as a pocket, and I'm going to put this photo of my girls behind it. So I'm going to put the photo down onto the layout. I'm going to use double stick tape to do that. And then once that photo's on there, I'm going to use washi tape to put the envelope onto the bottom of the page and create a flip out. And then I'm going to put that other picture of my girls inside the envelope. So there it goes, it's going right in the envelope. And then I'm going to use this really pretty thick washi tape. I'm just going to put it right on the bottom of the envelope and then wrap the other side of that washi tape onto the back of the page so that it creates a flip out, or a flip down rather, I guess. I'm also going to put a thinner piece of washi tape on the inside just to make sure it's nice and secure. And I also have this spine from a journal I made. It was a Little Women journal, so it says Little Women, and I kept it, and I'm just going to staple it right to the end of the page. I love the colors. I think it matches perfectly, and like I said, I never throw anything away. So when I saw that Little Women spine, I knew I would put it in my own journal. This pressed flower was from a bouquet of flowers that Lizzie bought me for Mother's Day. She surprised me in the morning. It made me so happy. So I snipped a few of them as they started dying and put them right away into some heavy books and just pressed it. And then I put it into some laminating plastic, and I put it through the laminator, and now I have a little flip out page. And that flower is really special to me. I just use washi tape to put that laminated page onto the end of my scrapbook page, and now I'll always have that flower. And it seemed fitting to put it into this layout because I have photos of my daughters, the card was from Mother's Day, and Little Women always reminds me so much of me and my kids, so that was important to put on there. And now the next thing I'm going to do is create journal space, since this particular layout is specifically for writing and journaling. But to do that, I want to make it just a little bit more creative. So this is an old book page that I had put a thin layer of gesso paint on so that the stamps and my writing would pop. So I'm just going to use this stamp and go kind of around the perimeter in a very decorative way. It's not like anything fancy. I'm just kind of stamping around the perimeter wherever stamps fit. And so that way it looks really just kind of unique and pretty. And then I'm going to use some of that brown ink and just go all the way around so that the sides really pop. And I just really like the way that look. I think it's a little bit nicer than just journaling right on top of something. It just gives it an extra special little look. I was trying to fit that little wallpaper piece in, but there was just really no place for it, so I didn't want to force it. I'm just going to use my glue stick because this page is really thin. It'll stick. It doesn't need a really strong glue, and I'm just going to stick it right to the middle of that really pretty page. So now I'm just going to journal right in the middle of that book page, all about what book I could read over and over again. So it seemed fitting to journal on top of an old book page. I'm also just going to add some washi tape to the top and the bottom just to make sure it's on there really well, and I think it adds some pretty color, which is always nice. Now I'm just at the point where I'm trying to decide if I'm done. I always feel like I should be adding more things, and this page was just so simple, but I actually kind of love the simplicity, so I decided to just leave it, call it done, because I really liked how pretty and simple it was. So I'm going to add that stamp with the date, because that's something I've been doing on all my Journal Prompt June pages. And then I'm just going to add my journaling, talk a little bit about Little Women, why it's so important to me, and why I could read it over and over again. And now, of course, as with most of my journal layouts, I'm going to add some of these tiny word stickers. I just love that nice little finishing touch that it adds. I picked a few special ones and put them throughout the layout. And that's my finished layout. I was so happy with how it came out. I loved the colors. I loved the meaning behind the personal ephemera that I used. I also loved that so much of it was upcycled and that my kiddos were in the photos. I love that it's interactive. I love the textures. I was really happy with this layout. It's probably one of my favorite that I've done in a long time. So thank you so much for following along. I hope you were inspired. I also hope you have a really great week. Thanks for following along. Bye.